Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Advanced Bass Fishing, and appreciate you guys coming by the channel and spending some time with me today. And guys, I want to talk about patience in fishing today and how it's misunderstood a little bit, because one of the things that you've probably heard about bass fishing, if you've been around very long, is people say, well, you got to be patient. You got to be patient to be an angler. And this is sort of a oversimplification, because there is times to be patient and there's times maybe not to be patient, and there's different levels of being patient that I want to discuss in today's video. Sort of goes along the lines of the channel Advanced Bass Fishing. It's sort of some advanced bass fishing theory here. So we're going to get into that whole aspect of patience in today's fishing, because there are elements of bass fishing that you have got to understand fully and implement in your fishing to really notice a lot of consistent success in your ability to catch bass every time. Some things in bass fishing, you're not going to notice that much. I mean, you may notice a fish here or fish there, but if you're going to have this incremental, consistent rise of your success as an angler, trip after trip after trip, there are some things that are more important than others, and this whole discussion of patience is one of them. So that's the topic of today's video. Also, guys, before we get started, quick reminder, check out my RB3 series sunglasses I'm wearing here. Silverbat has still got an extenuation of this Black Friday sale. Right now, guys, you can get them at 50% off. That's half price right now. And also, you get a free hard case from Silverbat, free shipping and handling. I'll put my Silverbat link in the description to both frames that I got here. If you're going to get one pair, guys, get that high contrast yellow. It's a really good lens color there. And also, guys, you can get them also at my Tackle Warehouse link too. I'll have my Tackle Warehouse link in the description. If you guys want to get stocked up on from tackle next year, using my links is a good way to support advanced bass fishing here. So thank you very much for me and my family. If you guys are taking advantage of those links, we really appreciate that. Okay, guys, let me tell you one story that I first learned about patience in fishing. This was back in 1981, actually. And there was this old guy, his name was, Jess Poindexter, lived in Joplin, Missouri there. And this was back when jerkbait fishing was just getting started out. And anyway, the jerkbait that everybody used back there was this old spoonbill, this Rebel spoonbill minnow. A lot of you guys probably heard of it before. And the old Ozark expert like Jess Poindexter, there was a handful of them that figured out they could go down to Table Rock Lake and they could put lead solder around the hooks of these spoonbill Rebels, and they could cast them next to these submerged cedar trees that were in Table Rock Lake and weight them down where they suspended perfectly neutral in the water and catch these giant bass. And guys like Poindexter, they were legendary during that period back then of catching these 7 to 10 pound bass almost every trip that they went to down there, especially during the pre-spawn. And they were just tight-lipped as they could be about it, and they just would not talk about it. And I even went up and asked him. I was just a kid, like a teenager, wanting to learn about bass fishing, and I'd even go up to Poindexter and ask him, and he wouldn't tell me. So finally, this friend of mine got to go fishing with Poindexter, and he got to go fishing with Jess at one time. And anyway, one of the big secrets that Poindexter taught my buddy was that you had to let that Rebel sit like a minute before even moving the thing. Now think about this, guys. If you've never done this before, if you've ever made a cast and let a jerkbait sit for a complete minute, it seems like an eternity. And eventually, I guess what he would do, he'd reel that spoonbill Rebel next down to a submerged cedar tree, and he'd let it sit there for a minute or even more. And then all of a sudden, my buddy said, all of a sudden his line had just twitched like that, and a big one would be on there. So Poindexter had the patience to let the thing sit for a minute, and that was a very valuable lesson, even though I didn't see it firsthand, about patience in fishing and your ability to catch big fish. Now, one of the most difficult things in bass fishing for a lot of people is patience, because if you have any level of ADHD or you are a type A personality that's not real patient, it is going to be like, next to impossible for you guys to be a good bass angler, because you have got to be patient as an angler. And a lot of patience has to do with your personality as a human being. Some people are just more patient than others. I mean, if you've seen, a lot of you guys know Guido Hibden, you know, legendary Ozark angler, classic champion. Guido Hibden could sit in one spot and throw a little finesse jig to one spot for 3 hours in a row and just work it, barely crawl it across the bottom like that constantly. And it's like Kevin Van Dam could never do that. It's like Kevin Van Dam wouldn't have the patience, you know, not to say that his techniques didn't work, because they did, but he wouldn't have the same level of patience as a Guido Hibden to cast at the same spot over and over again. Simply, again, it has to do with your personality. So patience can be something that can really, really benefit you under certain situations, and it may not under certain situations. But one of the things I want to, you know, dig into in this video is that regardless of the technique that you're using, whether it works or not to some level, at some point in bass fishing, you're going to have to discipline yourself to be patient as an angler. Now, here's the difficult part about it. Here's the sort of like the paradox between patience and different types of fishing. You have to know when to be patient and when not to be patient. Now, here's the times that you have to be patient. A lot of it has to do with the ability or the mood and the personality of the fish to bite during certain bite windows. Certain times a year, bass will feed throughout different times of the day, and you have to wait them out. Say, for example, if it's a current generated bite, and you know that the current turns on at 10 o'clock in the morning and that's going to activate the fish, you have to be patient and wait it out. And a lot of times you can catch fish even when they're not pulling current, but you may not catch as many fish. And when they turn that current on, you know, the fish could bite right there when they first turn it on, or maybe 20 minutes after. But you have to be patient to fish through all those complete cycles. That is one level of patience. Other times during the day, the angle of the sun may have a relative, you know, impact on the fish biting during different bite windows, and you have to wait that out. If you're in an area that has a lot of potential, say for example you're in a big grass bed that's got the potential to hold a lot of fish, or maybe you're fishing a row of docks that you got 50 docks to fish on a row on a certain row of docks. In situations like that, you have to have patience to stay there and meticulously break down every single piece of cover. That's why techniques like flipping and pitching require a great deal of patience. If you go fishing with me, guys, and we're flipping and pitching heavy cover, like thick grass beds or flooded bushes or reeds or cattails or something like that, you have to have the meticulous patience to like put that bait in one spot, work it, and then pull it out, put it maybe a foot or two away from you where you just were. And it takes a lot of focus and patience and, you know, just concentration to do that. A lot of people aren't wired like that. If they do that for 15 or 20 minutes, they get burned out on it, and they want to pick up a spinnerbait and start burning the bank with it, you know, which that doesn't require much patience. And sometimes that works. So the point of the video is that the term patience with bass fishing is a very complex, it's a complex idea to grasp, because it does have its place at times, and at other times it doesn't have its place. And one of the things that you have to do as a bass angler is you have to really determine when patience is going to be used to your advantage and when you need to pick up the pace a little bit and not be as patient. Now, that doesn't mean that, you know, it's more about the fishing pace. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be patient even if you're fishing fast, because if you're burning the bank with a crankbait or a spinnerbait, you have to have the patience to allow that technique to work as well. So there's a difference between like patience and then having the ability to fish at the right pace. Patience and determining the right pace in fishing are two different things. Sorry about that, guys. A little glitch in the video there. It said I got a notification on my phone that said my iPhone storage is full. I don't understand. Real quick here, I don't understand that. It's like it says my iPhone storage is full and it cuts the video off, but then I go into my iPhone storage and it says I have enough storage. So it's another one of those things about tech I can't figure out. But anyway, let's finish up the video here. Sorry about the deal here. Is overall, when you're talking about the whole concept of patience, is that you have got to learn discipline. And one of the things that's going to make you a good angler and a consistent angler is you have to discipline yourself in all different areas of fishing. And it is very difficult in bass fishing to be patient, especially if you're not catching fish. That's the hardest thing to it. If you're not catching fish, you always lose patience, and you always tend to speed up, and you always tend to want to do something else. But as a bass angler, patience is going to be your ally more than not, because one of the biggest things that's going to help you catch fish is if you have this attitude of not being urgent, and you have this attitude that you don't give a crap if you catch a fish or not. That is the key to doing well, because you fish relaxed, and the more relaxed you fish, the better you fish. It's like, I have never been in a situation ever, guys, where if I get tense and if I get anxious and I start fishing too fast and I lose patience, that I start catching fish. It never happens. It always undermines your own success. So, point of the video, and this is sort of a wide-ranging deal here, is try to be patient, try to discipline yourself to be patient, try to fish like you don't care if you catch one or not, try to fish like you don't give a crap if you catch one or not. If you want to take 5 or 10 minutes to eat a sandwich and just goof around a little bit and look at your phone, take 5 or 10 minutes and do that. It's not a big deal. Then go back to fishing. But don't get anxious, don't get in a big hurry, don't lose your patience, don't get all spun out. Just relax and enjoy it and have a good time. And the more you do that, the more you're going to notice your fishing success going up. So anyway, guys, hope it helps out. We'll talk later.